Hi, I'm Candace, and welcome to I Am Not a Doctor, where I am not a medical professional, but I love sifting through the science so you don't have to. You've probably heard this before. Red meat is bad, and eating too much of it can increase your risk of cancer. You've also probably been told to choose something like chicken or pork because it's a healthier option. But is any of that really true? Let's cut through the bad science and marketing BS to get the facts about why red meat is the MVP of the protein world and why chicken and pork should actually be eaten in moderation. One reason why you should reconsider red meat as a superfood is the nutritional composition. When it comes to nutritional bang for your buck, red meat is unmatched. We're talking about a food packed with heme iron, the kind your body actually absorbs instead of iron found in vegetables, which isn't bioavailable, and B12, which is essential for your brain and nervous system. It's got zinc to keep your immune system strong and complete proteins that provide all the amino acids your body needs to function at its best. Compare that to chicken or pork, and the difference is staggering. Sure, there are still protein sources, but they lack the depth of nutrients red meat brings to the table. You'd need to eat a bucket of chicken breast to come close to what a steak provides nutritionally. One of the biggest issues with chicken and pork is their fat composition. They tend to be much higher in polyunsaturated fatty acids and omega-6 fatty acids than red meat. Why does this matter? While omega-6s aren't inherently bad, most modern diets are drowning in them. They're pro-inflammatory, and consuming too much relative to omega-3s can lead to chronic inflammation, which is linked to heart disease, arthritis, and even depression. These fats are highly unstable and prone to oxidation when heated, leading to the production of harmful free radicals. This is not what you want in your body. The omega-6 and PUFA content in chicken and pork is largely influenced by what they're fed. Most chickens and pigs are raised on corn and soy-based feeds, which are loaded with omega-6s. This diet translates directly into the fat composition of the meat you eat. In contrast, cattle, especially grass-fed, have a much more favorable fat profile because they're designed to eat grass, not grains. Now, let's address the elephant, or should I say the cow, in the room. The idea that red meat causes cancer is one of the most persistent myths out there. But here's the thing. The studies that claim this are deeply flawed. First off, they're mostly epidemiological studies, which means they look at populations and try to draw a connection. They're not randomized controlled trials. So, when someone eats lasagna, the study might categorize that as a red meat meal, even though it's also full of refined carbs and inflammatory oils. Is the meat really the issue, or is it everything else on the plate? On top of that, these studies don't account for other lifestyle factors. Was the person also drinking soda? Were they sedentary? Were they smoking? These things matter, but they're more often ignored. We need a more nuanced look at the data to show if red meat itself is the culprit, or is it the company it keeps. Another common argument against red meat is its saturated fat content. For decades, we've been told saturated fat clogs your arteries and leads to heart disease. But newer research shows that this narrative isn't as cut and dry as we once thought. In fact, saturated fat plays an essential role in your body. It helps to produce hormones like testosterone, supports brain health, and maintains cellular structure. A meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition concluded that there's no significant evidence to support the idea that saturated fat increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. Some argue that chicken and pork are more sustainable than beef. However, when you factor in regenerative agriculture practices like rotational cattle grazing, cattle can actually improve soil health, capture carbon, and contribute to a healthier ecosystem. In contrast to the monoculture farming that has to be done in massive amounts to provide grain, corn, and soy that chickens and pigs eat. This type of farming is ruining our land and destroying our bodies. For those with gut issues, autoimmune conditions, or chronic inflammation, cutting back on chicken and pork and focusing on nutrient-dense red meat can be transformative. This isn't to say you can never have these meats, but you should realize that they aren't going to be the most nourishing for your body, and you really want to consider trying to buy your pork and chicken from farmers who are not using corn and soy in their feed. This will reduce the amount of pro-inflammatory fats in the meat. At the end of the day, red meat is one of the most nutrient-dense, bioavailable bioavailable and satisfying foods you can eat. It's superior to chicken and pork, not only in its nutritional profile, but also in its lower inflammatory potential. Don't let flawed studies or outdated dietary advice scare you away from steak night. Embrace the red meat and your body will thank you. Let me know in the comments if you're team steak, chicken, or pork. I want to hear about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with a friend. Remember, you are in control of your health. It just might take changing everything you thought you knew to get to where you want to be.